Chapter 8, Friday, page 127. Dear Diary, I have some news. Last night, after not being able to sleep, I got up and did something I've never done, ever. I crept across the hall to Daryl's room. He wasn't home yet. I didn't just go in there for no reason. I went to put the picture Gramps gave me on his nightstand, that's all. I pushed the door slowly open, slipped in, and closed it behind me. I had never been in there. Not that I can remember. I only remember being in my own room, in my own space, my own crib, my own bed, my whole life. But now I was in his bedroom. It was much cleaner than I thought, from what I could tell, minus the towers of stacked boxes of finished puzzles along the wall. In the dark, I crept to the bed, slid onto the side where the covers were already pulled back, climbed in, yanked the covers up to my chin. I laid on the left side, the side I figured he laid on. I have to tell you something, and it's going to sound weird, but by now, you know. I sniffed his pillows, buried my nose in it, and sniffed and sniffed. It smelled like nothing. Tried to know him. Tried to feel what it must feel like to be him. To be here in this room. One half of a whole plan, broken. One half of a person, maybe. And then, and I don't know why I did this, I slid over to what I guess was her side. It was cold, and the sheets were so flat, so stretched that they seemed hard, like maybe bodies on cotton makes it softer or something. It was like resting my body on a thin sheet of ice, it shattering underneath my weight into the water. I pulled the pillow from behind my head, and while lying flat on my back, hugged it. I sniffed it. I imagined it smelled like something maybe. Her. It smelled like her. Maybe her, I imagined. And I started to cry and sniff and cry and sniff and bury my cry and squeeze and sniff and cry and squeeze and then not bury my cry and try as hard as I could to swallow my howl, squeezing the pillow tighter and tighter until I felt something on my skin, something soft like feathers, but not feathers, too big to be feathers, I don't know what it was, so I reached over and yanked the lamp chain, and the room instantly warming the light, then freezing once I realized what was happening, what was tickling me. Not feathers at all, ribbons. First place ribbons. Years worth of them. I sat straight up in the bed and snatched the pillowcase off the pillow. The ends of it, badly stitched together, were bursting. Ribbons pushed through like guts. My squeezing had caused the seams to come loose. I started yanking the ribbons out. Years and years and years of them. First place. Long ones. Short ones. First place. And the whole time I'm still crying, and now it's louder because I wasn't trying to swallow it anymore. And I'm pulling them out and crying and pulling and crying, and suddenly Daryl opened the door. I didn't hear him come in the house or walk up the stairs or anything. He just appeared, just stood there in the doorway, staring at me, covered in ribbons as if I had jumped in a pile of leaves. First place leaves. And I didn't say nothing. He didn't ask me what I was doing in his room, in his bed. He didn't ask me why I had destroyed the pillow. He didn't say a word. He just stood there. It was only when he came in that I even looked up long enough to see all the other pictures, the ones from their marriage, them kissing, them laughing, them in college, in high school, in middle school, them, everywhere. He was shaking as he slowly walked to the other side of the room, his eyes never leaving me. Then he sat on the edge of the bed, crawled into the midst of the mess I had made, and hugged the rest of my tears out. He said he was sorry again, and this time for everything, for what happened to your mother, for making you run, for running, for shutting down. In a voice that sounded like a sound I don't think I have ever heard, he said it over and over again, his arms wrapped around me, my eyes on the nightstand. We were two S's, SS, lying side by side, ships finally docked in the night. Dear Diary, you ever heard people say things don't change overnight? Well, guess what? They don't. But at first I thought that they had. This morning I woke up in my father's bed, took a shower, got dressed, and went downstairs. There was Daryl, pouring himself a cup of coffee. He said he had called Aurelia and told her to take the day off, and that he took the day off. And a few minutes later, I kind of wanted to take the day off and put the night back on because me and Daryl were sitting in the kitchen just sitting. Yeah. Diary, I bet you thought we'd be as perfect as pancakes, but we were actually more like health bars, made of weird stuff, just there to cut the hunger. He said good morning, then sipped coffee. I said good morning. He asked if I slept well. I told him I did, asked him the same. He said yes, then sipped more coffee. I asked if he maybe wanted pancakes. He said sure, so I made pancakes for 6, and it was the first time I felt like stuffing pancakes in my mouth, not to eat, but just to take the place of the cat that had my tongue. We ate in awkward silence, and suddenly, maybe on like bite number 60 or something, he pushed his coffee cup across the table to me. He never did that before, never offered me coffee, so I figured I should take a sip. Diary, did you know coffee tastes like, why is anyone drinking this stuff? Did you know that? Because that's what it tastes like. And when I took a sip, I couldn't even swallow it. It tasted so trash. But I couldn't just spit it into the air either, so I just let it dribble back into Daryl's cup. Oh no. I started to apologize, rapid fire. Sorry. I'm so sorry. But before I could even get to sorry number 5, Daryl had already hit his 100th hop. He busted out laughing. Like laughing. I don't remember the last time I heard him laugh, and I definitely don't think I've ever heard him laugh that loud and for that long. It actually sounded kind of painful, like a bad cough, like hacking up something he had been choking on for a long time.